on the trig assignment, one of the things you have to do is graph and work with a really messy, long equation, the gravity equation. And one of the first things you need to do is you need to be able to graph. And I want to show you some basic things that are going to help you be able to do that. Now, I've done a similar graph right here. And if I go to graph this, I just lost this. If I go to graph this, you can see I've got it in here, and I go to graph it, nothing's going to come up. And you're like, well, where is it? Well, first of all, make sure you're in radians. And I'm in radians. But then what you need to do is if you try the zoom, like a lot of times zoom trig or something, in this case, that actually really usually won't work. Actually, the one thing I haven't tried, let's try it really quick, is zoom fit. But even that you can see is kind of not really doing anything with these oddball ones. So this is where your use of translations, you can see I did get something this here. And this will also give you an idea of where it's going here, but I want to expand out a little bit so I can see this better here in a minute. So zoom fit might help you. It's going to give you an idea, but also your translations. If I look at this, sine usually goes from -1 to 1, but you can see I'm up here. This is a vertical translation. I'm up at like 10. So when I go, oh, I don't want to be here. When I go to my window, first of all, I'm going to do my max say from -5 to 5, and I'm going to do it by pi over 6. And again, I'm just choosing something to start with. You'll notice this max and min, I'm going to expand that a little bit. I'm going to go from 10.2 to say 10.8, and I'm going to count by ones. In other words, I'm like, okay, this is the area I wanted. The zoom fit helped me do it, but now I want to be able to look a little bit better. I'm backing out. I'm going to manually put in these using the window, and then I'm going to graph. And you're going to find that that's usually your best way of graphing this. And now we're getting a really good idea of what that sine wave looks like. And obviously you can tweak your window from here once you get it in there. But what I recommend you do is look at the equation and go, okay, what do I know about translations that's going to help me decide where this is? And then from there, ask yourself, okay, you know, maybe the zoom fit will help you do it. You can certainly try the different buttons. So here's zoom, and then what I recommend you try, if anything, is zoom fit. And then go to the window, and you can play with the window. If you have zoom fit and you got something up, you'll be close. And then just kind of expand it out so you get a better choice. Now there's a number of times when one of the questions asks you to find the max or the min. You can do that right in your calculator. If you go to second trace, above it it says calc. And I can find either the max or min. So I'm going to find a maximum, click on it. And what you do is you have to click on somewhere to the left of it. So I want to find the maximum of this hump here. That. And then I'm just going to go past where I think the maximum is up there at that hump. And then I'm going to click enter again and then guess. So you're going to hit enter 3 times, once on the left side of the max, once on the right side. You're going to tell it, and you can see that's at 1.7, or that's pi over 2. And there's the high point, 10.445. The same way works with mins. So what you're doing is you're telling it where to look, and obviously this is going to have repetitive maximums, but it's going to allow you to find it. The other thing that's very useful on here is the table. Above graph says table, and if you go to second graph, you get pretty much the XY table, and you can look through it and you can find the values you need. Above window, second window, is table set, and so you can tell it where to start. I want it to start at 0.5, and I want it to count up by, say, ones, or you want it to count up by 0.001, and then not graph. I have to wait while it graphs. I want second graph. Okay, second graph. And there I go, and I can find the specific point I want. And you can see this one, I was just kind of picking something, doesn't show you much variation here. But as you flip through it, you can find those specific points. And when you're looking for specific locations on your trig assignment, this is the best way to do it rather than try to crunch this equation in your calculator. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of how to use your calculator best to help you with this assignment.